Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the channel, current events, headlines that are in the news, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue, a little bit of departure from what would typically be here on the channel. If this is your first time here, I'd like to welcome you guys and encourage you to click on that icon down there in the bottom right hand corner to subscribe. And then of course you have to click that bell if you guys want to continue to get the uploads as they appear on the channel and or the additional content here on the channel. Starting it off in gaming news, who knew that Battlefield 5 would make it into the arena of pop culture and independent journalism and commentary? If you guys recall back when the game was first released, the trailer didn't really inspire a lot of individual people, and it's not unusual for the gaming community to have a bit of a critical eye of a game, but nonetheless it has advanced. Now starting it off, players were concerned about the authenticity of the game. Of course, it doesn't take very much for gamers to point out these types of things, but the customization, the body art and things that were going to be part of the new Battlefield 5 just didn't really flow or seem conducive to World War II. But nonetheless, the reason that it's making it into the headlines now is that some of the developers were essentially suggesting that, hey, if you don't like the game or don't like our direction or what we're doing, then don't play, which is a pretty steep step in the business world to suggest to customers not to purchase your product. But on top of that, we also have the controversy of females being in the game, which has been a point of the contention in the game since the very beginning. But as this has progressed and is continuing to progress, we're even seeing various commentators, gamers, and others on YouTube kind of spatting it back and forth as this being some sort of social justice warrior injection of political commentation and discourse, which is not typically in gaming, as far as particularly addressing things like social justice warriors or virtue signaling. It's typically not something you would see within the game arena. Controversy, debate, arguments are very typical within the gaming world, but now we're seeing that politics are even being injected into gaming now, which is kind of disappointing because gaming is kind of my departure from politics and those sorts of things. But nonetheless, this week Battlefield 5 actually has made it into the mainstream of commentary. I'll leave you some links down below if you want to see what sort of impact and diversity or what some of these pundits are saying in regards to the game. The biggest news and or made all the headlines this week, of course, is the Paul Manafort and David Cohen charges, which there are a series of for both individuals. Now, if you've ever wanted to see the actual DC elite, the cogs, the wheels, the swamp of the DC area at work, at play, their evidence, their fingerprints, that's what you're seeing today. It is highly unusual for the FBI to raid an attorney's office and or even pursue an attorney. There's usually a protocol, there's a sense of decorum, there's a formality between how this works. But there is a deep state, there is individuals, there are actors out there trying to take down a sitting president. Now, of course, I'm being very general here because there's a lot more specifics that I could go into, which then will require more links, more references, and more points. But I want you guys to understand something. There is no mystery here that there is an active group of individuals, whether it be the mainstream media, special interests, the Democrat, the radical left, and groups of individuals who are organizing together to do whatever they can to espouse and affirm that they dislike the President of the United States. So basically what happened was, in general terms here, is that both Paul Manafort and Michael Cohen were approached by the deep state. This is the way they work. And they said, we want you to flip. We want you to give us whatever information you have on the president, because we're going to use that against him to turn the people against the president of the United States. And if you don't do it, we're going to go after you. Now, that again is a very general, wide brush painting expression, but it's essentially what happened here. Yes, they were pursuing Russian meddling, but as you can see, what Michael Cohen did or Paul Manafort did has nothing to do with Russian meddling at all whatsoever. Those are totally separate issues. As a matter of fact, the whole essence, the bottom line of all of this was to try to bring down President Trump, was to find a way to impeach Trump, to find something on a gotcha for him and bring him down. That's really what it all amounted to. As a matter of fact, as you can see here, there's no Russian collusion. That was the ultimate goal, right? No Russian collusion. Imagine how anticlimactic that must be for all the Trump detractors, not for him to have even been remotely affected by this at all. As a matter of fact, Trump is continuing to win. He is continuing to move forward, and he will continue to move forward. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to see a lot of the repercussions from all this happen around the midterms, because if the Republicans win the House and the Senate, there's no chance for an impeachment. Right now, everything is hinging on impeachment. That's what the Democrats, that's what the left are looking for. That's what the whole base of people who dislike Trump are hinging everything on. This is their carrot on the stick. Impeachment. That's what's motivating. That's what's driving them to this goal that they're trying to do. And it's important that people understand this, because it isn't necessarily about someone you don't like. In essence, it is the methods and the manners and the reflection of what people are seeing as you're doing this. We saw the same thing happen to Alex Jones, right? These individuals are also part of the collective, as it was, as the influence of people here in the United States, because the media wants that influence. They want that power. They want the ability to manipulate and shape the minds of America, their fourth branch of government ideology. And what we're seeing here is them really making moves, very desperate, very aggressive moves towards individual people, towards groups of people, towards businesses. And the mainstream media is just about losing its mind over all this. And this is kind of the reason why I'm even mentioning it here on my gaming channel, is it's become so serious. I'm curious what further actions they're going to take in the future. What more information are they going to try to generate about either the president or his administration or supporters? And how's this going to affect the overall scheme of social media when it comes to the midterms that are coming up? Because we're seeing people being shut down. We're seeing voices being shut down. Now, it's important for me to point out here, especially to our foreign friends, is that the government in and of itself is not shutting people down. It is the tech giants, it is the corporate people, it is these entities like the legacy media and the mainstream media that are forcing the tech giants, where you see all the social media individuals like myself, like an independent journalist. I'm not an independent journalist, but an independent individual with a camera and a microphone, voicing and espousing my opinions and giving you guys background on what little experience I have in areas of law and or in government, because I've at least had an opportunity to work in law and understand kind of how these mechanisms work. And for many years when I was a younger person, I was much more involved in politics. And so that experience and that knowledge is kind of coming forward today into the now, and it's just really kind of troubling and disturbing to see how it's been so invasive, especially in social media. But we'll continue to follow this, and I appreciate your guys humoring this bit of a rant, but nonetheless it was worth mentioning because it's getting very troubling. But I am encouraged and I am glad that the American people can see what's going on here, and we'll just have to see how things continue to move forward. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this week in coverage for the Friday vlog. I had quite a few things go on during the week here, particularly a computer issue that kind of set me back for a little bit, and some few snafus with Sony Vegas Pro. But those kind of things happen throughout the week when you're doing this level of production with this much content. There's always going to be those little minor snafus here and there. But I do want to thank all you guys for your participation here on the channel. And I've added some new social media sites here. You'll see appearing, popping up here on the left side of the screen. That would be Real Video and BitChute. If you guys are part of those particular social medias, be sure you're following me there. Although I don't think you can follow anyone on Real Video just yet. That is a social media platform that Alex Jones partnered with to create that site. So you can actually see some of his content there, as well as on BitChute. And now, guys, we've come to the point where I will suggest to you guys to click on that channel icon appearing there on the screen to subscribe to the channel. Your support is always appreciated, as always. And of course, you want to click that bell to ensure that you're getting the latest updates for the channel. And I will see you guys next Friday.